Alright, well, made it to the track today. This is more of like a local car show type thing. It's like a lot of street cars here today and a lot of street tires. People here just to make one pass and do the car show. There's a couple actual like drag cars, and it's really, really hot today. So not anticipating a whole lot out of today. Well, I doubt they even prepped the track at all. And then last night they had jet cars, so they probably didn't prep anything for that either. So I'm guessing we're not going to be able to get it to hook. That's my thought. And get all the excuses out of the way right away. Probably just make sure the dial boost and stuff is working right. And get some data, maybe see how the traction control does if it does slip. Yeah, just kind of a fun day. Like halfway, so I made about 20 pounds. I wonder if the traction control was actually working during that pass, because it sounded kind of like That'd be sweet if it was actually working, because it felt kind of like it was in and out of power a little bit. Thank you. 10-1, 141. 760 foot. Not too bad for spinning. Alright. Well, good first pass. So I try to figure out all the like turn the line lock on and stuff. That's all new. So alright, so they are doing like a fastest pass thing. Fastest right now is like a 948. One after that was a 1060. So 10.6 was the fastest for a little while. I had the 10.1. I haven't turned the slip in yet, but let's see if we can try to get better, go for that 940. But I don't know if we'll be able to get it with this track, but the traction control, I did look at the logs. Traction control was actually working. It pulled the 10 degrees. Didn't ignition cut at all, so it just pulled the timing and then was able to recover. So that's what I did feel going down the track, so that worked out decent. Mile an hour is there. Basically it pulled the timing, and then right after the 1-2 shift the tires recovered. So here in it actually did ignition cut that time, but I was able to just stay in the throttle I think the whole time, and it just worked. It didn't like get out of control. I don't know if it was a 940, but 145 though, 5 miles an hour faster. 145 with a almost 1.860 foot. actually made the traction control a little less aggressive, and I changed my boost controller to be 100% up to 38. When I did the dial boost table, I left it all like just graduated on the whole table, so it's not pinning my gate shut while I'm on the two-step, so I'm barely making any boost. And last time I was here, when I was leaving on 3 pounds, it was spinning really bad. So I'd like to be able to make more boost. I made the traction control less aggressive because I think what's happening is as soon as it's leaving, it's starting to see spin, and then it's pulling timing. So instead of planting the tire, it's actually working against me right now and making it spin worse. So I'm going to make a pass with the traction control less aggressive and coming on later. If not, I'm going to try turning it off completely and see what that does. I'm only leaving on like 2 pounds. So I'm going to pin the gate shut, try to leave on like 6 or 7, plant the tire, and then maybe the traction control won't even need to work. Working. Lighten up the traction control in the beginning, hit it harder. We'll do that. Yeah, that was just wastegate. Crap. Well, I guess it would be an interesting test to see if it did better with no power in it. 989. Thanks. Yeah, 1560 foot. Launch it and then turn it up while I'm going down the track. What's a mile an hour? 140. Yeah, 980 at 140. Before it was 10.1 at 145. Just got out of it. I tried to like get in early and get on the two-step, but then the guy never staged. Alright, so the old Ragnar's doing pretty good here. I still have this little tape junk around here. This thing I think is still boost leaking when I get into third, because I had a couple passes where it's like 20 pounds, and then as soon as I get into third gear, it drops to like 15. So I know it's leaking out of there. That's exactly what it was doing before. So I might end up getting rid of these couplers here and just going to like a silicone coupler. The other two, like this one and the one I have on the bottom of this pipe, seem like they're working fine. I think this is just from the engine torquing that it's actually making this one leak. But truck did go 980 on wastegate, which is around like 14, 15 pounds with the dial boost all the way down. So that says something about how like the track conditions and stuff were with, I turned it all the way down and it went 3/10 faster. So we were just having some issues with spinning and stuff. And you thought you were a hodler with Dogecoin at 60. Look at this guy just hanging on for dear life here. It actually broke the little plastic clips that are holding the back on, because it's just, you can see it in the video, just whipping the hell out of this thing. But yeah, it broke both of these little clips and this is all twisted up now. It's not too bad. If that's the worst thing that happened, I'll take it. So another interesting thing, so I said they were doing the fastest pass deal there. And this is like a car show, and they do have a drag event, right? So there was one guy who had a 9.1. He ended up with a 9.1. I had a 9.8, and then Tim actually had a 10.1. So Tim ended up winning the fastest pass with a 10.1. So we were kind of like confused, because they had a big whiteboard up there with all of the times, and like people would turn in the slip and they had a big whiteboard, and then it was first place with the 9.1, second place was me with the 9.8, and then Tim was third with the 10.1. And then when they called up for fastest pass, they called the owner of Tim up and gave him the award for fastest pass. So we were kind of like, well, that's a little confusing. Me and the guy were talking about maybe why that was. We thought maybe if it was only the car show entry, or if it was like there was a rule that was can't go faster than 10.0 that we didn't know about or something like that. And then one of the guys that was working at the event came up and talked to us during the award ceremony, and he's like, hey, I know you guys had faster times, but I wanted to like explain it to you why that is. And he's like, I'll talk to you after the event. So I told the other guy with the 9.1 that he came and talked to me and explained that. So we waited till after, and he's like, I bet they're going to say it's because they're not street cars. And that's basically exactly what happened. So they came, talked to us after the award ceremony, and said that their idea behind the event is to have people coming from the car shows and try to encourage them to take their cars on the track, that they didn't want people with like dedicated drag cars and not street cars to just sign up and then win. So the guy who actually had the 9.1, he's like, bullshit, and he pointed to me and he's like, he drove his here. And then they're like, So it was kind of funny because I drove mine there. One of the other guys remembered that now after he said that. He's like, oh yeah, I remember seeing you drive in with it. So they first tried to say that it was like not a streetcar thing. And then they tried to say that it was the guys, they want only the people that were like registered for the car show to be able to win the fastest pass trophy. And then the other guy ended up registering for the car show also. So I drove mine there. He was registered for the show and the drag, and then they were both like, didn't really have anything to say after that. They offered to refund the other guy his money and stuff too, so it was kind of funny. So you have an event at a drag strip, and then the people whose cars are set up for drag racing are automatically disqualified, but you have people that are dual registered for the drag race and the car show, and then they admittedly never even went around to look at the cars. So the other guy who had the fastest pass was registered for the show also, and then they admitted that they never went to go look at the cars to see like if they were a street car or whatever. So you have a guy that's registered for the show, paid money for the car show. They admitted that they never even went to go look at the cars. That's why they offered to refund his money. But the person that was announcing the event as he was going through the award ceremony announced that he himself won one of the classes. So if that tells you anything about how the show went, it was pretty funny because they also announced that they didn't have the trophies because the trophies never showed up and they were like stuck at FedEx. So they had an award ceremony with no trophies, admitted that they didn't even look at the cars, and then the guy running the event won one of the classes. So pretty funny. So this little upside down clip is just kind of like me recording part of the conversation. I should have got more of it, but it was kind of, I mean, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to like incentivize the car show people to go take their cars out. But like we were explaining to them, just tell people that, just clarify that in the rules, because you got people pushing your cars for no reason then. And essentially, we were automatically disqualified and we didn't even know about it. So we were running all day long and like turning in slips, like we'd get a better slip and go turn it in, and they're like, oh great, good job. And then they update the board with like first and second place, but we were actually disqualified the whole time and didn't know that. But we did talk to the guy who ran the event and a couple other people that worked there and kind of gave him some ideas for next year to do like time brackets or just clarify the rules better. Because these are guys that, like, admittedly, they said they don't know anything about drag racing, so we gave them some ideas with, like, time brackets and stuff like that. Like, you could have a 9-0 class and a 10-0, 11-0 class and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. So, hopefully they'll try to switch that up for next year, but at least try to clarify the rules, because people didn't know what the hell is going on. So overall, truck's doing pretty well. I'm happy with the pretty consistent low 10s, high 9s. Yeah, 3 of the passes were 10s. The first 2 passes were 10-1 and 10-08. And then all 3 of the other passes after that were in the 9s. So pretty cool. I think this truck's come a long way, because I spent like probably 3 years trying to get the truck into the 10s, and then it went 10-8 and 10-7, and now it's going 9-8 on its lowest setting. So pretty happy with where it's at now. Yeah, and if I can just keep it as like a 9s all day, drive it anywhere kind of thing, I'll be pretty happy. So have a good one.
I should have taken the time to come chat with you about your time, right? And you about your time. Correct. But instead we asked misinformation. That's why I want to reach out to you guys after. I want to make sure at least we're on the same page. Well, I'm not saying it was right. Absolutely right. But at least you understood.
Like I said, I'm not mad. I just feel a type of way.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, just clarify it in the beginning.
Yeah, we can do classes in the future,
people
right?
People pushing their cars try to compete, for fastest time and stuff, and
Yep.
doesn't make sense. I could have turned in that 10:08 slip,
Sure.
Yeah.
Totally understand, man. Well, guys, seriously, thank you for coming out, man. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for doing this out. Appreciate it.
Ryan, right?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
Have a good night, folks.